Good morning, America. Today we are welcoming a very special guest, Anna West, nutritionist.
Hello guys, it's a real pleasure to be here this morning. Thank you for having me.
It is a true pleasure to have you here as well. I think that it's a real debate, GMOs or no GMOs. What are GMOs and are they good for you?
I think that in order to grasp a better understanding of what a GMO is, you need a basic understanding of what DNA is.
Well, please enlighten us.
Well, DNA contains genetic information that helps to give us our genetic makeup and stores our genetic information. DNA is made up of 4 bases: adenine and thymine and guanine and cytosine. The reason we have these 4 bases is unknown, but Erwin Chargaff found out that guanine and cytosine pair up and that adenine and thymine will match up. These bases are what make up a codon, and a codon is 3 of these bases lined up. Codons are what make up amino acids, which make up proteins. An amino acid is a compound with both a carboxyl and an amino group. Proteins help the body function.
I did learn that DNA is in a double helix shape, is that right?
Yes, you would be correct. Scientist Rosalind Franklin used X-ray diffraction to show that DNA is, in fact, in a double helix. And she's the one that took the very famous photo 51.
I have seen that photo, yes, but how did anyone build a model of it?
Yes, that is a very remarkable thing, isn't it? James Watson and Francis Crick built a model of DNA, and they did win a Nobel Peace Prize for their work.
So what else is there to DNA?
A small section of DNA is considered a gene. A gene carries instructions on how to make a protein and makes the proteins. They can also vary in size.
Is there any other background knowledge we need before going into this?
Yes, you need to know what genetic engineering is. Genetic engineering is adding DNA to an organism which the DNA came from another organism.
So can we move on now?
Yes.
So what is a GMO?
A GMO, to quote dictionary.com, is an organism or microorganism whose genetic material has been altered by means of genetic engineering.
What does that mean?
It means that a GMO is an organism that has a trait of some form of DNA that is from a different organism.
That makes sense, but then what is all the controversy about?
Well, of course, to everything there are benefits and risks. The benefits are that it creates plants less prone to infestations. It can bring new concepts to the table that might lead to more consumers. And lastly, it leads to a more consistent, delicious, and healthy food to smell. The risks are that they are not always the most predictable. Modifying a single strand of DNA can lead to a domino effect of things that might not have been intended. This is also what happens when you change one of the 4 bases. It can lead to a mutation. Genetic engineering could also harm other organisms, and it causes hazardous pollution.
So there are some very positive and negative effects, but my real question is, how do they do it? How do they add traits to other organisms?
It's a complicated process, but first you determine if the most effective way to fix the problem or create your product is by genetic engineering. If it is, then you must identify what is causing the problem and what genes need to be taken away or placed. The third thing you must do is remove the trait from another organism into the organism you're trying to fix. Lastly, you need to test the new organism for several years to see if the organism is safe. There's an excellent example, which is the Hawaiian rainbow papaya. For several years, the papaya have been ruined by the papaya ring spot virus, PRSV. For years, and they tried to move the production of the fruit to see if the virus was just because of the location. After a while, they realized that the location had nothing to do with the production, but due to the fact that the papaya could not fend off this virus. Later, they found out about genetic engineering and decided to try it out and see if it would save the papaya. They isolated a gene from another organism that made them resistant to PRSV and inserted it into the papaya. They tested the papaya for years after modifying it. After testing, they concluded that the papaya was safe to consume and sold it.
So after all of this, what is your view on GMOs? Are they a good thing or bad? I think we are all very interested in what you have to say.
Well, I think GMOs are perfectly fine and should be welcome in today's society. I think that GMOs bring a lot of new opportunities to the table, and that it could lead to many amazing things, but it might come down to your personal preference, like organic foods, which I personally think are bogus, because if you don't use pesticides, then you have a better chance of consuming bug-infested foods, which is worse for you.
But you did say that they're at risk. You showed us them too.
They're risking everything we do today, such as walking outside. But you are forgetting that there are also many benefits, and I think that the good outweigh the bad.
So, if you could create your own GMO, what would it be?
Well, I've thought about this for quite a while, and I would create an apple that has the vitamins and iron that broccoli has, and I would call it the Brock apple.
Wow.
I think that farmers would like this product because it would help them with their broccoli production and their apple production too. Parents would like this too because it gets their children to eat their vegetables without a fuss. And the children would enjoy this because then they can eat the nutrition of broccoli without eating it and the tastiness of an apple.
Well, that is a great idea, but how would you do it?
It's simple. I would isolate the vitamins and iron out of the apple. Then I would take out the vitamins and iron of the broccoli, then add it into the apple and replace the genes we took out of the apple.
Let me just pause this video for 1 second so we can show you the photo Anna showed me.